And what was needed, an economy that needed, surgical operation. But the thing is that in going about the surgical operation, had expected that the patient would have first been, stabilized, before the applying the instruments. But what appeared to have happened in the last 100 days, we have seen was a sudden removal of subsidy, and also a one-step approach to unification of exchange rates. So that is, in my view, what has also exacerbated the crisis, the adverse consequences, that we're experiencing, such that as we speak, Nigerians are going through a tough patch. Most Nigerians are not finding things easy. And that's, again, in my view, because of the sudden approach to the reforms implementation. As I've always maintained, the reforms were necessary, but the way and manner they were, taken on, in my view, is also what has caused this some of this, hardship, severe hardship. Talking about the stagflation, talking about the, of course, rising misery index, rising poverty, rising unemployment, never mind the methodology by the MBS. So all of this, I am saying, could have been smoothened, through a phased approach of these, reforms. Nancy, I say this because suppose the president had come in and said something like, okay, we will study this situation, and because remember the first subsidy thing was associated with a lot of opacity, a lot of corruption and all that. So an analysis and evaluation of the situation would have been, in my view, the first step. All right, and attempting to solve that problem would have also meant, maybe even improving the country's, liquidity situation, which is the fulcrum of some of the problems we are facing today. The issue of liquidity. Now, look at the recent data we have from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission that says that between July and August, oil production, just rose marginally from 1.08 million barrels per day to 1.18 million barrels per day. Nancy, our quota, quota is 1.74 million barrels per day. What that tells you is that volume deficit alone in 1 month, is close to 15 million. Because if you take 500,000 barrels per day volume deficit, multiply by 30 days, now 15 million. Okay. Now, even if you use the conservative exchange rate of 765 to translate that, all right, and maybe crude oil price of $85 per barrel. Okay. Now crude oil price is around $94 per barrel. But if you take $85 per barrel on the assumption that maybe the country, of course, will have sold oil, forward, that gives you close to 1.4 $1.23 billion. Okay, per month. And if you put that in naira terms, it's close to 1 trillion naira in a month. That is what this country is losing. All right? And imagine what 1 trillion naira can do in this type of economy, where you have just budgeted, if you check everything that have gone into these palliatives, it's not more than 500 billion. Because they have said, for the case of empowering businesses, for example, 75 billion to 75 years. You have another 125 for SMEs. You have another 50 billion for nano businesses. If you take all of that together, not up to 500 billion, and yet in 1 month alone, we lose 1 trillion. So that tells you that there are low-hanging fruits that we could have lashed in on, and that's why I said the president could have assessed the situation and over time face this removal of subsidy. The same thing with the issue of even the unification of exchange rates. In my view, it shouldn't have been done in one fell swoop. Okay, so that is why we're having some of these challenges. But whether or not the reforms are good, they are fine. Okay, it's time we had them, and I'm sure, and I'm of the opinion that the president took the right steps by having these reforms. But the way and manner it's been implemented, in my view, is what has resulted in some of these severe consequences on the economy.
Okay, Mr. Adibaji, let me come to you. And you've heard what Prof has said. Almost everyone, at least the economists that I've spoken to, even those in government, do agree that the fuel subsidy had to go. Something had to be done to the Naira. But of course, what many people also differ on is the way and manner these policies were handled. Now, we've seen what has happened in the last 100 days. Prof also did mention that some of these policies, the way the president handled it, has exacerbated and worsened the economic situation of the country. What do you think that we should be doing now? Earlier on, you talked about implementation of policies. Now that we have our ministers in place, let's take it one by one. The fuel subsidy, for example, government also came out some weeks ago to say there will be no increase in price again. That was about 3 weeks ago. Raju Ngilale announced it that the president has said there should be no increase in fuel prices anymore. Isn't that a form of subsidy are coming back? And how do you think that this fuel subsidy removal, the impact, how do you think it should be carried out beyond what we are seeing right now by the government in terms of dishing out money, 2 billion naira now cash to states? I've had conversations with the three state governors, and they told me, okay, financially that we have 2 billion naira now for palliatives. But even beyond that, what other impact reduction plan should we expect from this administration and the states to help cushion the effects of this worsening crisis?
Well, I don't really want to go into the details of the social intervention programs. I think we all agree that whatever reforms you have needs to have a human face. And the human face means that you need to manage it. Yes, it's a good idea you manage it with governors because they are on the ground. And I think they're closer to the populace than using a federal program that might not reach the people. So I think that approach, is laudable. And I think there needs to be more emphasis on the social intervention program to cushion the impact of palliatives. But what I want to focus on is more, we remove the subsidy for a reason. Remove the subsidy because we wanted to save about $10 to $15 billion a year. Now the question now is that those savings are supposed to start rolling in now. So we need to find out how much of those savings are now begin to roll in. And the questions we need to ask now is that these savings that we're making from the subsidy, what sort of social infrastructure are we going to invest in? We're not going to use this money just to pay for the current expenditure, which is important, but there needs to be some structural reforms within the fiscal policy of government, whereby we can now begin to apply these savings into social infrastructure like education and healthcare so that we can see more impact on the populace as a whole. So for me, that is what we need to focus on because we removed the subsidy for a reason. So now let us begin to articulate the policies. I think we need to move away now from presidential spokespersons, and we need to get the coordinating minister of the economy and the finance minister. We need to get him to talk more and to telegraph the markets as to what the plans of this government is in terms of what they're doing for subsidy savings, what they want to do, and how they want to go about it. But I think the most meaningful impact we're going to see is that now that this government is in place with the ministers, the medium-term economic framework is going to start being considered, and it's time for this government to put out their budget for next year. It is the budget for next year that will determine how this government wants to move forward. Because now they're in a transition period, now they've settled in. Now, see their budget. What kind of budget are you going to put out in place? Let us understand the true position of the nation's economy in terms of the liquidity position of the central bank. What is the true position of our reserves? Let us understand what the true position of the fiscal deficit is. Then let's take a look at what the budget for next year would be. I think once they do the budget for next year, I think we'll get a better picture as to the direction of how they want to implement the policy reforms. But right now, I think the coordinating minister of the economy and finance minister needs to be able to give us a roadmap. Let us know what the current situation is, especially with the debt profile of our government, because that is one of the Achilles heel that will happen. So we did the subsidy removal for a reason. So let us know what the benefits are from the savings. We're going to get some benefits. There's an upside to that. So let's begin to articulate the benefits of subsidy removal. Let us begin to see a new budget, because by the first quarter of next year, the IMF is coming for an Article 4 report. And when they're coming in for that, their article report, it's important that they give Nigeria a positive check based on our budget. Because what is happening now is that our credit rating internationally is in junk bond or even below junk bond status. So we need to resolve those issues of confidence so that our debt servicing, especially external debt, the cost of our debt servicing can also go down. So what we really need to address in Nigeria is the issue of our debt profile. That's number one. And then we need to address the issue of stagflation. The economy is not growing. And at the end of the day, you also have a situation whereby all these issues are impacting on the economy. So if we grow our economy by 7 to 8% a year, then the 133 million people that are in poverty, you will take them out of poverty. And the employment situation of 40% youth unemployment, you begin to resolve that issue. So the key that the government needs to focus on is growing the economy by 8 to 10% per annum on a sustainable basis. By doing that, you solve the problem of unemployment, and then you solve the problem of poverty. So these are the priorities that government should take a look at, what policies they can put in place to grow the economy and to remove a lot of the impediments. So I think that what I would like to see is waiting for this budget, and let's take a look at the medium-term economic framework. But more importantly, I think it's important we hear from the finance minister and the coordinating minister of economy to tell us, now that he's settled into his ministry, what are the plans for the budget, what are the plans for next year, and to give us some sort of a review of what they want to do, and let us get a better understanding of how the economy will be next year, so that we can begin to restore confidence in the economy. Because an economy in stagflation is a very, very, very difficult process to get into. And we need to have monetary policy that's going to reflect curtailing inflation, because inflation is a big problem. Both real rates and real yields in the economy in Nigeria today are negative. And it's important that we address that and begin to restore confidence both to the local economy and the foreign investors.
Okay. Mr. Adebayo, of course, this administration has given us a signal that this year's next 2024's budget would likely be ready in October this year. So let's see what they come up with. But of course, from what you have said, if we're able to see the 2024 budget, it gives us a signal in terms of where this administration's priorities are, perhaps in terms of capex and in terms of recurrent expenditure, if I got you right on that. And I will come back to you later, but let me get Prof's reaction, because I wanted to ask you a follow-up question, but I'll come back to you later. Prof, you've heard what Mr. Adebayo has said. We need to restore confidence in Nigeria's economy. Do you think that what President Tinubu is doing right now in India is doing a bit of that? Do you also think that the policies, the twin policies of fuel subsidy removal, naira devaluation, also seemingly brought in some kind of confidence that this president is taking bold moves, albeit the way and manner it is done, that as Nigerians were saying, Mr. President, you wouldn't have done this to us because the impact is huge and you're not taking care of the impact. So do you think that is restoring confidence?
I think so. I think the moves so far are confidence building moves. His recent trip to India, and I understand now he's in the United Arab Emirates. So I think all those will be in the interest of the economy moving forward, particularly if you look at the numbers that we are reading in terms of pledges that will come by what foreign direct investment. There's some pledges. I said pledges. $14 billion. Yes. Of course, all that will depend on the business environment, ease of doing business, and all that. Just as you rightly said, not cash yet. Again, that also leads me to this issue of savings. Fuel subsidy removal and the savings. You see, the way I even look at those savings, what the government is calling savings is not savings in real terms. Okay, it's not cash because remember, the fuel subsidy was not provided for in 2023, from July to December. It was only provided for from January to June. Okay, so as we speak, what I'm saying is, yes, the one from January to June, yes, borrowed, yes. So there isn't any money we are saving now, by way of subsidy. So I think what the government is saying is that we are not borrowing. We are not going to borrow. Because of fuel subsidy. Because if fuel subsidy had been on, the government would have been borrowing to maintain the fuel subsidy. So it's just that the government is not borrowing. It's not as if the government is saving any cash. You understand? So that is the way I also figure it. And that's also why I said that the government should take advantage of what I just explained to you. No hanging fruit. You deal with this crude oil theft. Okay. You deal with whatever issues that are stopping us from meeting at least our production quota, 1.74 million barrels a day, excluding condensate. Okay. I don't think it's this one is within us, within the control of the government. What is not within the control of the government is the price, the crude oil price, which fortunately has been trending upwards. But production, is something we can at least control. The other thing too that we also need to deal with quickly also has to do with our refining capacity. Okay. Part of why we're having this problem of liquidity today, even with respect to forex, has to do with the fact that we are still importing petroleum products. Okay. Now government is saying that by December, from what you have read, the Port Harcourt refinery will start working. So if we had that kind of target, I would have suggested, that the fuel subsidy issue could have been dealt with within that time frame. So you don't suddenly remove it. If you let me land on this point, the cost of importing fuel. If you look at the do I come back to it after your break?
Yes.
Okay, because I can see
Yes, I'll come back to you. Let me come back to Mr. Adebajo. Mr. Adebajo, you actually did also mention earlier as to getting the direction of this government, especially from the coordinator of the economy and the finance minister. He spoke just before he traveled that the federal government has no intention to borrow both locally and through our foreign means. This is a government, of course, it inherited about 96% of its revenue being used for debt servicing. Where else do you think that this government can get money to improve the liquidity position of this country? Prof has given two recommendations. Where else do you think that we can get monies to improve the liquidity position of this country?
Well, first of all, I think when you talk about liquidity, what kind of liquidity are you talking about? That's very vague. Are you talking about foreign exchange liquidity, or are you talking about Naira liquidity?
I'm talking about both, actually.
Okay, so let us be clear on that. In terms of the foreign exchange liquidity, we understand where the problem is. In terms of the fact that we are having challenges in that area, and we are unable to meet the demand, and of course the reserves have been depleted, and a lot of money that used to come in through foreign portfolio investments is no longer coming in. So we're looking at alternative sources. There's also the structure of the market itself. We have diaspora remittances of close to $25 to $30 billion that comes in every year.
But the CBN says that they don't see that figure.
No, it's not that they don't see that figure. What happens is that the money comes into your domiciliary account, and you now find a situation whereby it happens to all of us. You get an inflow of dollars into your DOM account, and then you check the rates which your bank is providing you. And since your bank is not providing you that amount of money, you go to your domiciliary account, you draw the money in cash, and you change it on the parallel market. So that is what is happening, because the banks cannot offer you a rate, so they cannot trap it. Don't forget that 50% of this economy is in the informal sector. And the informal sector also contributes to about 50% of the GDP of this country. So it's a significant economy that you cannot ignore. So the informal sector is trapping all those funds. So if the central bank rates are not competitive enough with the parallel market rates, you'll find that there's going to be disintermediation between the CBN rates and the parallel market rates. So there's this extreme need for foreign exchange reform, so that there's no gap, there's not a significant amount of gap between the parallel markets and the I&E window. And if you do not have that reform, then you're going to have a problem. So now that we have adopted an exchange rate mechanism that is no longer static, we need to now enforce that, because I do not see any reason why what is driving the gap between the I&E window and the parallel market rates. So I think there's still a lot of questions that needs to be answered in that regards. And of course, since there's a low level of confidence in the economy in Nigeria, and our bond and our euro bonds are trading at junk bond status at very high yields, the confidence of dollars coming into our system from the foreign portfolio investment side is beginning to low. So we need to go back on another mission to be able to repair the confidence issue I mentioned. There was a time when the JP Morgan Emerging Bond Index were dropped from that index, and it gives us a negative connotation. So we need to repair that, and we need to go on the coordinating minister of the economy and finance minister needs to go on his international road trips. They're going to the World Bank meeting, they're going to the UN meeting. So along the lines of all these meetings, with the World Bank meetings and the UN General Assembly meeting, they should now begin to talk to people and begin to assure them that we're serious, so that we can begin to restore the inflow of foreign portfolio investments into the markets.
Okay, Mr. Adebayo, can I come in there, since we're still sticking with foreign exchange? What kind of recommendations will you put out to this government in terms of foreign exchange reforms coming from the monetary policy side? Because in the past, I think from June to July, we've seen different policies from the Central Bank of Nigeria in terms of even the removal of some sweeteners earlier on that they had put in, like Naira for dollar, a scheme, the RT 200 billion FX initiative, all those policies that were put, that were really in place during the now detained CBN governor. So what kind of policy reforms are you expecting from the Central Bank of Nigeria under the acting governor, Mr. Ashonubi? Because it seems even when he spoke last, I think about 3 weeks ago, that speculators should beware. And I think we're still waiting for that announcement. We've not really seen yet what that announcement means. So what kind of policy recommendations will you be giving to the monetary policy side, especially as the MPC is even in the next 2 weeks or so?
Yes, thank you. I try not to give unsolicited advice, because you have a minister, finance minister in place, and you also have an acting governor and central bank. But my own general issue is the fact that you need to take a look at the reform of the foreign exchange management systems and understand the reason why there's that gap between the I&E window and the parallel market. That should not be there. So there's a lot of intelligence that needs to be done to be able to ensure that window is closed. So that's the only thing I'll say right now. But I think the most important part of liquidity, which we tend to ignore, is the Naira liquidity. Okay, because now the government borrowing is significant, and that needs to stop. Don't forget that right now there's about 100 billion, both in local and domestic debt. That is 100 billion US dollars. That is the official rate now. But don't forget that we also have challenges with the ways and means, which is at 30 trillion right now. And then we have also sold a lot of the oil forwards. So that's an indirect loan. So it is important for me that in fact is the liquidity we need to address. Because if you keep, you're mounting up all this debt, and then you have a situation where you're selling your oil forward again, you're putting pressure on the system. So basically, even with your revenues, revenues now are at 10 trillion. Okay, so which is very good. They're hitting 10 trillion. They're on target to hit 10 trillion, but that is not enough. So because of the sort of debt piling up, so I think it's important for us to address this issue, because the real position of the debt is not $100 billion, which is on the debt management website. The real position of our debt is close to $220 billion US. If you include the ways and means and the oils that we sold forward. So for me, that is the greatest risk to liquidity in our system today, and that is really what we need to address.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. When it comes to the issue of forex and exchange rate, my view about it is that the central bank can only manage the demand side. There's very little it can do with respect to the supply side, since it doesn't print dollars. Okay. In the past, the central bank has tried some measures to increase the inflow of dollars. You mentioned them, the Naira for Dollar policy, the RT 200 billion program. Now, these programs are even hinged on the contributions by the fiscal authority. So when it comes to supply, the fiscal authority has a lot of role to play. On the demand side, my advice to the central bank is to perhaps see whether it should renew the currency swap arrangement it has with China. And this time around, let the size be substantial. The last one we had in 2018.
The last one we don't know about.
We don't know about it because it didn't. Yes, it didn't make much impact because number one, the size was small, $2.5 billion, and so on. I was looking at Nigeria's trade.
Who will guarantee if it's more? That we will know about it.
No, it's just to now say let it be transparent. Okay. Yes. If you look at our trade statistics, the last 5 years, okay, you will realize that our imports, our trade with China, has been dominating. So what that is suggesting is that in order to reduce the pressure on the dollar, that's why I was talking about demand side. The central bank should also consider, this currency swap arrangements. This time, having something that is significant and making it a lot more transparent. Okay. While we are also weighing the pros and cons of joining the BRICS, club. All right. So while we weigh the pros and cons, in the meantime, we should also look at having that currency swap arrangement.
How about the PAPs? How about PAPs? So what role will PAPs play? That's a Pan-African settlement.
Yes.
Yes, because that is ongoing right now with many banks in Africa. So if the central bank, and I know the Central Bank of Nigeria is also spearheading that because they've been under WAMS, they've been doing quite a lot before PAPs came on board. So what role will PAPs play? If you're saying let's have a currency swap with China, what role will PAPs play? Being that PAPs is as a Nigerian seller, and I have someone that wants to buy from me from China, I get settled in Naira. There's no need for a second or a third-party currency there.
Yeah. The PAPs thing
I hope you understand what I'm saying.
The PAPs thing is being, it's being arranged or championed by Afrexim Bank. Is that not so?
And after, that's the African Continental, yes, Afrexim Bank.
African Exim Bank.
Yes, they were like a few.
You talk about after. Yes. In talking about the currency swap with China, I gave you my justification. I said trade volumes with China. Okay. You are not talking about intra-African trade. What's the volume of intra-African trade? What's the volume of trade between Nigeria and, say, Ghana, for example, compared to China? All right. So that's why I said why we weigh the options, pros and cons of joining BRICS. Why we weigh the options of even the currency swap? These things, of course, will be based on pros and cons. But the reality is that of intra-African trade, the volume is still small. All right. Of course, the common payment system in Africa is meant to promote the after thing. Nigeria should be part of it. Okay. But in the interim, it should on the dollar.
Yes, that was why I brought that up.
Exactly. The issue of the currency swap with China is also to reduce dependence on the dollar, which is also on the demand side. Now on the supply,
yuan
and naira. Yes. So on the supply side, my point is the federal government has a lot of role to play to attract supply of forex. And I've given you one such example. If you deal with crude oil theft, yes. Foreign direct investments too is in my view, the responsibility of the federal government. We need to attract foreign direct investment by improving or enhancing the ease of doing business in Nigeria before these investments can flow in. And we also have the federal government can also take advantage of the huge assets that it has. The other day, the Minister of Finance Incorporated was telling us that they were working to unlock 100 trillion naira, government assets. Okay. Government can also get money, by selling some of these assets, or privatizing some of these assets. Okay. So unlocking their value. And selling some of these assets will also bring in some funds for the government. And in doing so, it's also important that we sell those assets or we privatize those assets through the capital market, through the stock market. You will agree with me that as we speak now, the stock market appears to be where we have the silver lining in all of this. Yes. At 32.7% year-to-date return, inflation rate 24.08%, real rate of return is positive for the stock market. All right. So that is where we are seeing some traction, in the economy. But the worrisome aspect of the kind of growth we're experiencing now is the fact that the growth is only being witnessed in certain sectors that are not employment elastic.
Banking?
Yes. Cool. Yeah. Not employment elastic. If you look at the GDP report by the National Bureau of Statistics, the financial services sector, where banks dominate, grew from 21% to 26% in quarter 2 of 2023. And the contribution too has also increased by 5% of GDP. You look at the real sectors. Agriculture, they are not growing. They are even so you don't find a link between the financial sector and the real
perhaps
sector.
Because financial services are also leveraging on technology, and don't also forget that many of their staff are jackpying. So they are also innovating in terms of technology and also coming up with the holdco arrangement, fintech, and all of that. So that is also translating to.
Yes. The point I'm making is that you're having high unemployment rate today. Because the growth in the financial sector is not reflecting in the real sectors, of the economy. And these sectors, financial sectors, whether it's ICT, whether it's financial service sector, they are not employment elastic as much as you find it. Exactly. So we need to change that narrative.
Okay, Mr. Adebayo, just as we begin to round up, you said earlier on that you want to see the mood and you want to gauge the pulse of this administration when it comes up with the budget. And I guess that's the work of the Minister of Budget and National Planning, isn't it? Yes. Dr. Ben Akabweze's office, which is the Budget Office of the Federation. I guess they're also working on that right now. What things would you like to see? We are talking about 100 days now, 100 plus days. What are the things, apart from that, what are the things you would like to see between now and December? For example, that would also show you that perhaps this president knows what to do, is prepared, as he said, a Milocon, that will begin to see that a Milocon in majority of the implementation of pro policies, pro and friendly policies that will also make Nigerians feel that we have a president and not, bringing up the sledgehammer on all of us.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me just make a quick comment before I answer this question. Our trade with China is $20 billion. Their largest trading partner from imports is $20 billion. And the next trading partner we have is India, which accounts for about $5 billion. So the theory is the fact that only 15% of our reserves are held in renminbi. And we already have a swap arrangement with China. So the trick is that we increase our holding of renminbi and our holding of rupees, because India also happens to be our leading exporter country where we export oil to. So I think it's important also that we look at doing a deal with China and India on currency swaps and hold less of our reserves in dollars so as to take the pressure off the dollar. I think that's very important also to look at. Now, talking about what I want to see now, what I'm looking at now is I'm looking at medium-term economic framework. Because before you do a budget, you need to set out your medium-term economic framework. The Minister of Budget and Planning, Mr. Atiku Bagudu, who used to be the former governor of Kebbi State, is also a former banker. The Minister of Finance is also a former banker. So these are top people we have in the finance sector. So we're expecting a lot from them in terms of managing the finances of this country. So the medium-term economic framework is going to spell out exactly how you intend to move the economy in the medium term. So this government needs to officially come up with the medium-term economic framework ASAP. That is what you do even before you start the budget. So once we see that medium-term economic framework, we get a better idea of how things are going. And then once that is done, then I think the minister should just come and let us know exactly what their plans are for the end of the year, and let us know what the current situation of things are. The CBN balance sheet also needs to be restructured, and that's also something that is also very important.
Okay, Mr. Adebajo. Okay, thank you, Mr. Adebajo. 30 seconds, Prof, because we've got to go now.
Okay, well, it's to say that the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms is doing a lot on fiscal policy generally and taxes in general. And I'm pretty sure that by the time the work of the committee is out and is implemented, businesses, small businesses in particular, will witness a lot of I will experience a lot of relief.
Okay, because I'm aware that committee, that is the Taiwo Oyedele's committee, when he was here the last time, talked about quick wins, medium-term priorities, and long-term priorities. Thank you very much for coming. Mr. Adebajo, thank you also for joining us today. I've been speaking with Tilewa Adebajo, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the CFG Advisory, and Professor Uche Owaleke, who is a Professor of Finance and Capital Markets at Nasarawa State University. Are you still the chairman of CIBN?
No, former.
Okay, former. Oh, you just finished the pen. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming. All right, that's as much we can take on today's edition of the program. Please join me again tomorrow with another guest or guests, another topic. I'll see you all tomorrow. Be the best you can be and be the change that you want to see. I am Nancy Nachi. Bye now.